Captain MacDonald, there are some other things that we found here in the house. Some other questioning we have. We'll present them to you. And if you can explain some of these things, fine. If you can't, we'll just have to worry about that. I want to get with you on this thing because this is like money in the bank to you. This is real important to you. For example, let's start with one thing. This pajama top you were wearing, okay? Now, let me back up just a little and give you some depth here, some background. We have a team of laboratory technicians in your house for 5 days. These people are very thorough and they're very professional. We gave them the benefit of all our experience.
Right.
But not knowing anything about what might have happened in there, as far as what you saw or didn't see or
Right.
whether you were there or not. We just took everything we could find of an apparent evidentiary value.
Okay.
All right? So, when I say something is so, I want you to know that I'm right.
Okay.
If I'm not right, if I don't know I'm right, I won't say it.
All right.
Okay? Now, again, your jacket,
Pajama top?
pajama top. Now, we've taken this thing and we've examined it under laboratory conditions. We know what it's made of. We know what kind of fiber is in it. We know what kind of threads are in it. We know that it's old.
Right.
It's been around a long time. We know that it hasn't been repaired to the extent that there are foreign threads in it. That's
Right.
okay. Now, we have found fibers and threads in various places in the house. And one of the most puzzling things to me personally is that we found fibers from this jacket under Colette's body, strung out under her body. And I'm interested in how they came to be there.
Shaken off. I don't know, maybe do these things shed? Are they laying all around the house? I mean, I don't know.
No, it doesn't.
You mean they're big fibers?
Yeah,
Not
microscopic.
Not fuzz.
not fuzz?
It would be fibers and threads.
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't answer that.
All right, moving along a little bit further with this thing. Now, how does it happen that the pocket from this pajama top has a little bit of your wife's blood on it? A very, very minute thing. But it's laying in the bedroom. The rest of the jacket, is soaked with her blood.
I laid it over her.
And with Kimmy's blood. Now, how does that happen?
Well, I'm sure I had blood all over my hands from everyone when I was checking for pulses and stuff.
Yeah.
And well, in fact, you see, my wife, I don't know how much, Jesus, I don't know. If I had blood on my hands and I went back and touched this pajama top, could it have gotten on it from that way?
This would contaminate it to a certain extent.
I mean, I had blood all over me, you know. I mean, I know I checked carotid pulses in everyone, and I'm sure I got some blood on me from everyone. And I went back to see my wife again. That would seem to be logical, you know.
Right?
Okay.
Well, we're talking about the pocket that is completely separated and apart from the rest of the shirt.
Let me show it to you if I can. Like I say, this is important to you, and I want you to
Okay.
understand what we're talking about. Now, we've got your pajama top. Very crude, rude drawing, but that's the way it is. And this is the front of it. Kind of V-neck affair.
Right.
All right, it's torn down here.
Okay.
And your pocket was over here, okay?
Uh-huh.
And that's since been torn off.
Uh-huh.
Now, this had a couple of spots of blood on it.
Uh-huh.
As we said, Colette's blood. The rest of this area is drenched with blood.
Uh-huh.
As is this. But that's another story. This is over in the master bedroom. In your bedroom.
Uh-huh.
Way over here someplace. Away from Colette.
Could it have been torn off me? I mean, in this struggle and...
Yeah, that's what
Someone else dropped it?
that's what we think. That it was torn off the jacket there during the struggle. But we have to find a way to get it to the bedroom.
I don't know. Maybe it was hanging on this. And when I walked in, it fell off. You know, I mean, I just, there's a couple ways I could picture it. Either say that when we were struggling, it was torn off
Okay, we'll say that.
and the person on the way out the door dropped it. Is that possible?
Well, anything is possible.
Right, okay.
Some things are less possible.
So when it was hanging on me, when it was hanging on my jacket, when I took it off my arms, and when I was in the bedroom and I was taking it off and it dropped off, then I don't know. I would assume that it was ripped off and dropped by them, or that when I took the shirt off, you know, I opened it up to put it over my wife and it dropped off then. And maybe it was kicked away from the body or something by the people, you know, the medics or the MPs that were giving me artificial respiration. And then the blood, this part got soaked because, you know, I put it over my wife. I really don't know. I just, you know, it just seems to me that there's some way to explain it.
In addition, we found fibers from this jacket in Christie's room and in Kimmy's room. Both.
Holy Christ.
Again, I'm not sharpshooting you now,
No, I know.
but you told us that you
Right.
took this off
Took it off, right?
in the master bedroom.
Well, now, how about my hands and stuff? Could it be coming from my hands as I was taking it off and walking down the hall when...
If there were corresponding blood smear where this thread was found, yes. But there wasn't. You see what I mean?
Right.
You just have your hand and wipe something and there's blood and it's good that it's...
Well, possibly it's... I don't know. You know, when I mean, does it have to be smeared with blood and wiped? Couldn't it have been attached to the hairs on my arm or something and, you know, ripped in the struggle and fall off?
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know.
These are...
I'm sure I took the thing off. I'm sure I took this thing off the first time. I didn't make a circuit with this jacket on, I don't think. I came down the hallway, I know that, and I went in and I took it off to get my hands free.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay.
And sometime while I was in there the first time, I put it over my wife. All I can say is that it might have been on my arms, or I don't have much hair on my chest. That's not help anyhow, but it must have fallen from me. It's the only way I can say. Or these people involved that had it on them when they left me from the struggle, you know, and Kimmy was still screaming, and so was Colette when I was undergoing the struggle. And possibly, if these 4 people involved, they had to go back to these rooms to finish doing what they were doing, they brought them in then.
Well, we're not talking about a, say, stray thread or fiber here and there. We're talking about profusion.
Well, it doesn't make any sense to me, profusion. I don't know.
Well, he doesn't mean like the autumn leaves,
Right.
but I mean, we're talking about big threads.
Uh-huh.
All
I can say is that I don't know what this, you know, how ripped this jacket looks. I don't even remember it, to tell you the truth. I just remember taking it off my hands. But if it was ripped up, it seems to me that threads could be on them and on me. It could have fallen from them. That's all I can honestly say. Now, when I went to check them and check their pulses, I could have dropped it, or after I was unconscious in the hall, they could have had them on their clothes or whatever and dropped them when they went back. But I don't. When you say fibers, do you mean these fibers had to come from this jacket?
Yes.
No, I understand they'd have to come from the jacket, but these are not from just routine use?
No.
Oh, well, then I have to say it was from after it was ripped when I was struggling. It was either them or me that left the trail. Is that why you were so interested about which rooms I went into?
Yeah, sure.
When I...
Among other things, but that's one of the things. Now, in addition to all this, we found fiber from that jacket under Kimmy's fingernail, and it had blood on it, which would indicate somewhere she
Under Kimmy?
got her.
I don't know. It's pretty obvious what you're... I don't know.
Well, this is why I've said, Captain MacDonald, we've got these specific things we've got to talk about.
Right?
Because you are the only person who knows what happened in that house.
Listen, I know all about that, and look, Jesus Christ. All I can say is that it seems to me these fibers in struggle could have gotten on everyone, me or them. And as they go back into room, and if Kimmy was still alive at this time and was struggling or fighting or pushing off someone, that she could get fiber, in her fingernail, or the pocket could fall from my jacket when I opened it up. I don't know. I mean, I wish... I can't give you the answer specifically. I can't say I saw the pocket fall when...
Well, this is what we want.
I know.
We want to know if you can say that or not.
I know. No, I can't specifically say what happened to the pocket, and all I can do is make conjectures about the fibers, that they were on their hands and mine, and they were dropped during my circuit of the rooms or when they went back in the rooms because they were still screaming.
Did you take anything that would have made you sleep?
Anything to make me sleepy?
Yeah, or sleep hard. Did you sleep hard?
Well, now when I sleep at home, I sleep hard.
Did you take a sleeping pill?
No.
Did you take anything that would make you sleep? A cold pill?
Geez, I didn't take...
An antihistamine? Did you take an antihistamine with your wife?
I might have taken an antihistamine. I don't remember it. I don't think so.
Why would you have taken one if you did?
Well, this will sound ridiculous coming from a doctor, but I don't remember taking one that night, and I'd probably remember it, so I don't think I did. But, I've taken antihistamines and a couple of tetracyclines, which is an antibiotic when I feel cold coming on. Now, it's not supposed to work, and I know it's not supposed to work, but I don't get colds. When I take these things, it seems to prevent the cold. I don't remember taking one that night. No, I don't remember taking anything to make me sleep. And now, when I'm on at work, I hardly sleep. I mean, the nurses can tell you that at Cape Fear. They just call me and, and I'm there like that. But when I'm at home and I relax, it's different. I sleep heavy then because I'm usually tired, and not real tired as I used to be, but I sleep heavy at home. My wife has a hard time getting me up. As a matter of fact...
Did you went in the bathroom one to wash yourself a little bit?
Right.
And cleaned?
Right.
And checked yourself? Okay, and then, if I recall what you said correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. But you said that you realized that you didn't really know what had happened to your children. You hadn't felt their pulses or anything, so you went back to do this again. Is this the chain of events here?
No, I think that I did my washing and stuff after I made this chain. That's what I was saying before. I think that this was the second circuit. I'm not sure about that, honestly. But I think that I had already checked them and then checked myself. I don't think I ever washed my hands or anything before, or sponged myself off or anything before I went to see them the second time, I think. Because I made the circuit, made the phone call, and made the circuit again. And then I think that I was in the bathroom then. I don't think that I did washing in the middle, if you know what I mean. I might have, but I don't think so.
So what kind of condition were you in when you went to make the second phone call?
Well, I was in the same condition I was in all night. What do you mean, what kind of condition?
Cleanliness. Did you have blood on your hands or blood on your person?
Oh, listen, hey, there was blood all over everywhere. I mean, I wasn't clean by any means. I was dabbing and trying to think of what to do, and this was cursory thing, you know. I think I used some tissues or something and rinsed my hands off, but I don't even know if I used soap.
At any point during the night, during this checking before the military police arrived and the medics got there, did you wear a pair of gloves?
Did I wear a pair of gloves?
Yeah, you.
Oh yeah, to do the dishes.
What kind of gloves were they?
She usually had 2 pairs laying around there. Yellow, thick dish gloves and pair of my surgeon's gloves. I don't know which ones I used. I don't remember.
But you did use
Right.
gloves to wash the dishes?
Yeah.
Okay. After you realized you had been attacked yourself when you woke up and you realized that there had been harm done in this house. All right, you were alone now. Did you wear gloves at any time?
No.
Not to take pulses or anything like that?
No,
Okay. Well, we have a lack of blood in some places where there should be. Captain MacDonald, there should be a lot of blood. As you say, there was blood every place. And you were wondering what to do, and... Right. It seemed like that to me. I seemed to see blood everywhere. Yeah. There should be a lot of blood on the telephone in your bedroom. And there should be a lot of blood on the telephone in your kitchen. But there isn't. There was some blood on the telephone in the kitchen. And it was about the size of a grain of salt, you know.
Uh-huh.
If you can visualize that, it's not a lot of blood. I think you used it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm going along with you here.
Uh-huh.
The phone is down. It's off the hook.
Right.
When you left the line, and we know what the operator has told us and all that.
Uh-huh.
Where's the blood? Did you wipe your hands off someplace?
Maybe on my wife's nightgown or something. Or when I was checking the pulses, what are my pajama bottoms like? I might have just been going like that. I don't remember. Maybe my hands were relatively dry when I picked up the phone, but I don't.
Well, you know.
Not before the first call, unless it was on the rugs or, my wife on the nightgown and stuff, But I don't know. I didn't.
No, I'm not saying
I didn't clean before the first phone call, I know.
you've worked in the emergency room lot.
Right.
It's your profession. And you don't get your hands full of blood and wipe them off and not contaminate what you touch. You get blood on what you touch.
Right.
You're
Right. Unless it's dry. I mean, when I woke up on the floor, if I had been there for a while, it could have been dry and not leave too much.
It wasn't dry when we got there.
Okay, that shoots that down. I don't know. I might have wiped them on this terry cloth thing that I don't even remember, or I might have wiped them like that on my pants or on the rug or anything before I used the phone, but I don't specifically remember doing that.
Did you look around any place to see what had happened? Other than just looking at your family? In going to look at them? Or going to use the phone? Did you...
I looked out the back door once.
Was it open? The door open?
The door was open.
How was it?
The door was open.
Did you open the curtain to look out?
Geez, I think the door was open.
Was the light on or off?
The back porch?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I could see. It must have been on. I mean, I could see out. And it was either light from the bedroom or the porch light. I don't know. I don't know if the porch light was on or not, but I could see out.
Did you go to any other place to look? Did you go back to the living room and look around in there, or...
Well, as I was using the phone, I walked through it and stuff, but no, I didn't go out the front door.
Any particular reason why not?
Why? I mean, why would I go out the front door?
Why did you go out the back door?
Because it was open. You know what I mean? Everything was open, and maybe it...
Is that why you didn't go out the front door and look, because it was closed?
Yeah, I must have seen it. But yeah, I didn't even think about it, to tell you the truth.
All right.
I mean, I was walking, to use the phone, and I came back, and I never thought about the front door.
Did you see anything out of the back door?
No,
Did you see your neighbor's lights on?
I didn't notice. Usually the only lights on that, well, if the couple's porch light is on. Our neighbor right next door to us always has their light on, but I didn't notice it. I mean,
It's quite a ways down.
yeah, I mean, I didn't notice that or anything. All I did was look out the door and go right back in. I don't remember any specifics at all. I didn't see anybody, and that's what I was looking for.
But you didn't see anything remarkable at all, or a pea, apparently?
No.
Was it raining?
It was wet. I don't know if it was raining. It looked wet out. And
Did you put on that terry cloth robe that you have at any point that evening?
the brown one,
The sawn robe?
The white one?
the white one,
Uh-huh.
I have 3 of them.
Okay, there was knit white terry cloth robe.
Yeah, I know what it is, my shower robe. No,
Did that normally hang there on the doorway?
sometimes.
Was it that night?
I don't remember. I don't remember seeing it. I probably would have seen that. I don't know. You know, my wife probably used that for the shower, and we just throw it over the door to let it dry, so it might have been.
Did Colette take a shower that night?
I don't remember it. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
When she went to bed, did she close the door?
The bedroom door?
Yeah.
No, she hardly ever did.
She left it standing open? Well, the reason I'm asking is to try to help you remember,
Yeah.
to bring the situation back the way it was.
Yeah. No, it's almost only rarely would she ever close the door when I was playing my records a little too loud and she had to, wanted to go to sleep or something. But that wasn't the case that night.
It wasn't?
So I'm pretty positive that she just left it closed or left it open all the way.
Now, chances are that robe was hanging on the door.
Right.
From the last time it had been used?
Right. It's usually there on the hook next to her closet, one of those 2 places, and about 50-50.
Now, that's what this robe was used for. The shower.
Right.
To get from the shower to the bedroom?
Well, yeah, to lounge around in sometimes, but the shower usually.
Did you ever wear that outside?
The robe?
Yeah.
Well, maybe to run to get something off the line, or pick up the paper every morning, but not specifically, no. Now, sometimes, maybe the kids would dress up in those things and go outdoors and play for a minute, but that was considered good stuff. And my mother, that's a Freudian slip. My wife would have, called them back in and taken it off. But not that I know of. No, I never wore it out.
Do you remember in the master bedroom, what disarray was there when you went in there?
What disarray?
Uh-huh.
No.
You started to say something before and you didn't let yourself say it because you weren't sure. We were talking about how you found your wife if she'd been moved. You said something about how she might have been leaning up against the chair and you decided not to say that. Now,
Well, I decided not to say it because I'm not sure
does it seem like she might have been?
I remember we were right next to the chair. And, I at least moved her limbs to look at her really and to see her chest and to give her artificial respiration. Now, I might have adjusted her shoulders or something like that to lay her flat, to give artificial respiration and heart massage. You have to have then lying flat. I honestly don't specifically see myself shifting her, but I was moving her and being excited and being the wife. I might very well have shifted her an inch or two, a couple of inches to lay her flat and then, taking the knife out and, giving her mouth to mouth or something. That's perfectly conceivable without me even remembering it, but I don't remember it.
Do you know why you took the knife out?
No, unless it was, maybe instinctively. I mean, if you can't do anything with it in there, you can't give her closed chest because it would just increase damage. Or if, well, I didn't think about it, I just took it out.
Yeah. In other words, it was just an instinctive reaction?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do any good it can hurt, it can't help.
Did you see the inscription that was written on your headboard?
Just read about it.
You never saw it?
8 inches high, that it was pig. That's what I read. I didn't see it, no.
Something that puzzles us about that, frankly, is the fact that the word is in the singular and not in the plural. Of course, a great deal can be read into things that don't mean much.
Yeah.
And this might be the first reaction.
Uh-huh.
But
Well, was she alone in the bed, at first, and I don't know. And I have really no thoughts on that. That seems pretty conjecture.
You didn't notice it or go up and examine it or anything?
Oh, no.
when you went in to go to bed, I take it you found Christy in bed and she had urinated in bed. Wet the bed. Is that right?
Right?
What kind of bedclothes were on the bed? What kind of linen? Were there blankets?
I don't remember. I don't know. We usually had, I don't even know if there was a blanket aside from the bedspread. The bedspread was an ugly green and white and purplish colored thing.
With flowers on it?
Yeah.
Like the curtains?
Yeah, but
It matched the curtains?
I think that was the one that was on there then, but I don't remember, honestly. I just remember pulling back the stuff and the sheets, and the bed was wet, and so I moved Christy. I don't remember what kind of sheets and stuff were on it.
But they were on it?
There were sheets on the bed.
Did you talk to your wife at that time?
Uh-uh.
Was she asleep?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about this big wet spot there on the bed. Was there a lot?
This happens all the time. That's not unusual, Every night Christy was in there. Just about every night. I tried to tell my wife that the way to do it is to keep her in her bed one night, even though she cries. And we did it with Kimmy, and it worked. She never again came in, and there was no problem. But Colette, said it was worth getting up for 1 minute, rather than to have to go through 2 or 3 nights of yelling and screaming. So she usually always came in. She was 2.5 and still had a bottle,
That's kind of unusual, isn't it?
We were real easy going, and if Christy wanted a bottle, well, we decided that let her have a bottle. No big deal. Kimmy had a bottle for a long time, and she was fine. I mean, there didn't seem to be any harm, and she was happy. She was a good kid, didn't have any problems.
Christy was the baby of the family in more ways than one, wasn't she? She was pretty well taken care of, it seems like.
Well, they were both taken care of. I don't think either one of them were really favored. They were totally different. Kimmy was real, effeminate, and real female. And Christy was tomboy, They were totally different. But I don't think either of them, we loved them both for different things. Equally, I'm sure. You could yell at Christy more because it didn't affect her. You couldn't yell at Kimmy. I mean, she got very upset if she thought, you were disapproving of her.
She was bright and curious?
Yeah, they both were. But Kim was much more academic type. In other words, she would sit and read for hours at her age, which is real unusual for a kid to hold attention, and very curious. Christy was curious, but she'd grab something and look at it and then run away and do something else. Different kind of outlook.
What kind of class was Colette in?
What the heck was the latest one? I don't know. Something literature. I mean, I don't really know. She had just gotten an A in her 17th century English. I don't know. She was an English major, and it was some kind of literature course.
What was she pursuing? Was she after her degree or something?
Yeah, in English, she was going to end up, when I go to Yale, she was going to try to, get into Yale or college nearby. Yale is accepting girls now, and she only needed about a year now. She had 2 years at Skidmore and a whole lot of courses since we've been married, different places, and she was going to try to get a, bachelor's in English.
To what end?
I don't know. I suppose that she would have liked to have ended up being some kind of an instructor, preferably in college atmosphere, wherever I was. I was probably going to stay at university to practice, and she would just piddle, be an instructor, kind of part-time thing. I didn't want her working with the kids, and she didn't want to work very much. And it was nice, having her around and taking care of the kids and taking care of me.
Kimmy was in your bedroom and she got hurt in there.
She got hurt?
Uh-huh.
You mean that night?
That's what I'm saying.
Unless she went in, now she hardly ever did anymore. She did real rarely, but very rarely would she leave her bed. She was, at that point now where she slept in her own bed and stayed there. Very rarely she would go in with Colette and myself, but that was like once a month that occurred.
If she heard something, would she have and been awakened? If she had been awakened, was she the type of child that would go and investigate to see what was going on?
Well, Christy would, even at 2.5 probably, but I'm not sure about Kimmy. Kimmy was like, she got bucked off the new pony. I just got him once and she wasn't. It took her a while to get back on. You know what I mean? She wasn't take charge, and that, I don't know. That's conjecture, but Kimmy she was real effeminate and real soft and gentle, and I don't know. But if she had a nightmare, for instance, the only parable I can draw, if she'd wake up crying from nightmare, she'd just sit there and yell until Colette came in, whereas Christy would come charging into the bedroom and dive into the bed, a whole different way of doing something. If Kimberly heard screaming, I would doubt if she would go and investigate that. She's bright and curious, but she's also a very dependent type child,
You don't think she would?
Well, she might. I know. I mean, how do you tell what a 5-year-old girl is? But I wouldn't. If you said to me, what would I expect? I'd say no. Christy, yes. Christy would go charging anywhere, partially because she's young enough so she doesn't have any fear yet. But Kimmy was always different. She was always, you had to take her by the hand except in academic things. I mean, she was the one that came home and knew how to read and write way too early and stuff like that. But like she'd get pushed around by other kids, whereas Christy would defend her, believe it or not. Kimmy would come home crying and Christy would run over and crack someone. So, geez, that's the first time I heard that. I hadn't heard anything about Kimberly being injured in the master bedroom. Oomph! Now I heard them both screaming, so, I'm positive it was Kimmy, definitely, with Colette, because she's the only one who would call me Jeff, and I know her voice. And I'm sure the other one was Kimberly. So, but I didn't know that what you just said.
When you went in to check Kimberly, on which side of the bed was she on?
The right side. She always slept on the right side because sometimes Christy would go with her.
Towards the middle of the house rather than the windows?
No, on the window side. The right side of the bed. Her right side of the bed. She usually slept on the window side. Besides, you had to squeeze through that hi-fi in the bed to go the other way. And we just walked around the bed to the other side.
There is one thing that I might ask you to cooperate with us. Don't read anything into this. But if If it comes to this, are you willing to take a polygraph examination and reference what we've talked about this morning?
Sure.
Sometimes these things help.
Sure. Absolutely.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fine. We wanted to get that out in the open and taken care of before we quit this. You realize you don't have to.
Sure. That's fine with me.
We might ask you to do that just to clear the air here.
How would you like to have a cup of coffee?
That's fine with me. We've been talking for a long time.
Bill, will you take care of that? Show the captain where the coffee is.
I need to call my office. They're expecting me back.